Welcome back to For Geeks by Geeks, a place where geeks come to geek out. As always, I am Boser. How we doing tonight, you guys? Oh my God, welcome to your Monday. Happy Labor Day. Thanks for tuning in on your holiday. I realized this was months ago when I scheduled my guest for tonight that this was Labor Day. And I was like, oh, maybe I should reschedule, but I didn't want to cancel her because this was too cool. And she seemed willing. So I was like, whatever, I'm not going to push my luck. I don't want to lose her to somebody cooler and more popular than us. But welcome. How are you doing, you guys? It has been an incredible weekend for me. It's been just like geeking out central. On Saturday, I got to go to Bristol Renaissance Fair up in Kenosha, Wisconsin. On Sunday, I went to our local Comic-Con, Hall of Heroes Comic-Con, which last week, if you tuned in, you met the director of that Hall of Heroes Comic-Con and the Hall of Heroes Museum in Elkhart, Indiana, Alan Stewart. And honestly, I gained so much respect for him. And that's what I love about these Geek Out sessions is I just get to talk to all these people that probably have no business talking to me in the light of day. So we do it at night here in the secrecy of the internet on our corner of it. And I just have a great time. So let me know, how are you guys doing? I do want to know, what is your answer to the question of the day, which is, if you were a mystical creature, what would you be? And I guess that could be any gambit of things, the full amalgam of mythos and all that. Hey, John, thanks. Oh, thanks for the sub once again. Oh my God, 17
Evening,
months.
guys.
Hello, welcome. 17 months. That is commitment, my guy. Thank you for the sub. Appreciate you as always. I think you're really gonna love our guest tonight, John, because you are really artsy and you are as well as Oceana. And honestly, I think we got some writers here tonight. So if we do, make sure you ask all the questions because she is going to have some great answers for you. But Alec would, of course, be a dragon. What kind of dragon? Would you be an ice-breathing dragon, a fire-breathing dragon, an acid-spitting dragon? Honestly, okay, let me think. I would probably be... What I'd want to say is I'd want to be a dragon, but I probably actually wouldn't be a dragon. I'd probably be something that scums like the bottom of a lake or something. But John would be a merfolk, would be cool. Ooh, so if you like mermaids, have I got an author for you? Honestly, a merfolk would be really cool. I could see myself being a merfolk, but flying has always been something that it's always my go-to answer when it's what's your superhero or what's your superhero power. Flying is always my go-to. So yeah, I'd probably be something with wings, probably a sprite, or I don't know. How does a nymph fall into that? Do they have wings? I don't know those answers, but I think I know somebody that does. Because if you guys have been following our story the last couple days, my guest is very special because not only is she just super cool and talented and a great human being, but she actually kind of fell into my lap because she found our channel first and she found our Instagram and she just started geeking out about all these things. And I'm like, oh my God, you are so cool. Oh, wait, you wrote a book? Oh my God, it's a whole series. Oh my God, you're a martial artist. And there's like this really great story behind how you blended all those things together. Will you please come on the show? And instantly she's like, hell yeah, just give me a day. And so we were able to pick down today. Oceana will be a water serpent like a naga. Okay. And Little Rascal will be a fairy. Welcome. Welcome, Little Rascal, to Four Geeks by Geeks. I'm excited for any of Danielle's hardcore fans to show up and geek out with her tonight with all of us. She needs some family to show up for her. But yeah, honestly, I'm like a little nervous. I think I'm talking a little fast just because I have such respect for what she does. And like, I'm just so excited. So, oh, I didn't realize that emoji. I did a winky face when I set up this Nightbot and I didn't realize it'd be a monkey. So that's cool. Anyway, sidetracked. Without any further ado, I won't keep you waiting for meeting the very cool, the very talented, my friend, Danielle M. Orsino. Blow it up, you guys. Hello.
Hi. How are you?
I'm great. How are
I'm
you doing
so
tonight?
excited to be here.
Key. I'm so big. I'm gonna switch that so that we have some leeway, and my face doesn't take up literally half the screen.
So you can see my wings.
Yes. So Danielle, who are you wearing tonight? Tell us, who's your designer?
This was made for me from a fan, and I'm kind of giving you Aurora realness. I have my Aurora Crown, which was done by Enchanted Earth Co.
Okay.
Jamie actually made the crown for me. It's the Aurora Crown, and she sells it in her store now, which I think is super cool. She read the book, loved it, and we got in touch over Instagram. And so now she makes Aurora Crowns complete with her Angelite disc.
Oh my God.
So I'm pretty psyched.
And if all of you in the chat are like, what's an Angelite disc? Who's Aurora? Why does she have blue wings and red hair? Like,
we can explain all of that.
All of it. You're going to know so much tonight, but not so much that you feel like you won't have to go get yourself a book and read it. So I'm just going to plug it right now, right off the bat. If you are interested and you love what you hear, just use command book and it'll give you all the links to pick up your own copy, whether that's through Amazon or through Audible. I listened to it and I loved every minute of it.
Thank you.
But yes, sorry, I can you tell I'm like scatterbrained? I'm like nervous.
No, I appreciate it so much. First of all, thank you. And I have to give you a little shout out on the side, because this podcast, just leading up to it, you guys were probably the most professional one I've dealt with. I've had people leave me in a green room, forget about me, and literally not show up. I've gotten links that don't work. People who just didn't read the book, who I get on there and they're like, what's your book about again? So I have to say, you guys were just like on top of things. So I appreciate that very much. I don't want to put anybody down. I just want to say you guys really deserve, a little round of applause, golf clap. So thank you so much.
You hear that, chat? You hear that? All those technical difficulties has brought us to this moment.
I could deal with technical difficulties, but you guys have been right on with things. So I appreciate that so much.
Thank you. Thank you so much. That means so much to hear. I will pay you later.
Wink, wink. Split me the 20 later.
There you go. You're going to find an anonymous donation. But right off the bat, before we really get to know all about you and how this book came to be, just give us your elevator pitch. What is Birth of the Fae Locked Out of Heaven about?
The way I put it is angels with daddy issues. That's the best way to put it. Yeah, there you go. Basically, angels who were involved with the fight between their creator and Lucifer, who find out they are no longer needed in the war, and then a bunch of angels who were elitist, who were never meant to fight, can no longer go home. So you have two factions. You have the warrior angels and the ones who were tending to Earth under the creator's orders. Both of them find themselves here on Earth. They're locked out of heaven. They can no longer go home. And now they have to survive. They don't have identities. They don't have their jobs. And their whole lives were kind of caught up in what they do for a living. And now they're told, you're no longer needed. Go find something else to do. And that's what they have to do. They have to figure out how to struggle and survive without the glory of the Shining Kingdom and a boss. So now they have their own destiny and they can kind of make decisions for themselves, which they've never had to do. But they also have to get over that anger of being abandoned. And what do? Do you channel it into helping others? Or do you become somebody who's like, no one will ever hurt me again? Let me circle the wagons. And so two angels make those decisions and break up into two separate factions and then become what we know as the Fae.
Okay. And the Fae being like fairies, mermaids.
They then take their, some of them were sent here to protect the flora and fauna of the earth. And so they bond with their wards. But they become merfolk because, they guarded the oceans. Or they become the Aubain faction, which are deer. They, had guarded deer. So they all protect
there in that chapter. I was like, Aubain.
Yeah, we learned a lot. We learned a lot.
Deer.
But the Fae don't mean what we think of as fairies. They become the Fellowship Aegis of Earth, which means protectors of Earth, a society based on protecting and defending Earth, which becomes our court of light. And where there is light, there is dark. So those leftover warrior angels say, well, if you're going to be the court of light, we're going to be the court of dark. And that's what they become. And during this, humans soon populate the earth. And both factions of these groups figure out worship equals power. So the more we have worship from humans, it makes us more powerful. And eventually they think, nah, there's not enough power to go around. So we're going to consolidate. And we have our war between the court of light and court of dark and where that goes.
That was a very concise. I was like, I don't know how you're going to sum up everything that you wrote in all those chapters in such a concise summary, but I mean, you've probably done this 1,000 times, so.
I've had a little practice, a little bit.
A little practice.
A little practice here and there.
I loved it. And if you guys are into fantasy, if you're into sci-fi, if you're into religion, this book has such a great way of blending it all together. And I just love the structures that you set up within each kingdom, or the court of dark and the court of light. Like, you put so much thought into even the magic and where that comes from and how that goes, and into like the military structures of the Power Brigade angels.
Thank you. I wanted to make it attainable, because I'm a fan of fantasy. You know, I've always liked like the Myths of Avalon, things like that.
Okay.
But what I found is that it's always just magic just exists. You know, it's always kind of just there. It's only been recent that I've noticed in fantasy that we've kind of gotten into the explanations a little bit more.
Yeah, you're right.
But I wanted it to be felt and realistic. Like, okay, where does it really come from and things like that. So I wanted everybody to have their own society. I didn't know I was world building. Like if somebody said, oh, you're world building, I would have looked at them and been like, I'm doing what? Yeah, I'm not a classically trained author. So newsflash for everybody, if you want to learn how to write a book, I might not be the person to follow on this, but I'll tell you how we did it. And
says the woman who wrote a book.
Yeah, I didn't set out. You know, I just kind of was like, what do I wish was in there? And I read a lot of comic books. So I based it more on that than sitting down and thinking, when I read a fantasy book, I wish this was going on. I based it more on comic books because I think comic books flesh out things a little bit better. There's always an explanation.
And then,
yes,
they do take that extra time.
Yeah, I think there was a book that used to be called
shorter.
Yeah, there was a book called The Science of X-Men. Okay. That like got into exactly how like Cyclops' optic blasts work and how many calories he needed per day in order to actually work. And it was really cool. And I thought that's kind of where I want to go with stuff a little bit more. Like, why does it work? Instead of it just works because it's magic and that's it.
Yeah.
I wanted to give people a little bit more to go on, and that's where I started. Because, like I said, I didn't set out. You know, I didn't set out one day and say, I'm going to be an author. Mm-hmm. This came from an IV room with a patient. That's where this started. This was not me sitting down being like, I'm going to be the next fantasy author. No. That was not me.
Okay, so then let's rewind the clock a little bit
before
we get into all the greatness of the book in detail. How did this first begin, this idea for the Birth of the Fae?
I was working as at a Lyme disease practice. So I was sticking people every day.
Yeah. And
they were getting these long treatments. The doctor I worked for was very aggressive. They were dripping IV these patients from either a half hour to 2 hours every single day, 7 days a week.
Oh, wow.
I worked Wednesdays as the sidekick for the doctor. And then I would work Saturday and Sunday and holidays, strictly IVs. So I was sticking these people Christmas morning, New Year's Day. I saw them, the same set of people. Mm-hmm. One patient in particular, who is one of my closest friends to this day, him and I started the same day. His first stick was me. My first day was with him. It was just very weird. And so he had been there. He moved up from Pennsylvania to Westchester County just to get treated. He was very sick.
Wow.
And after about 1.5 years, he left his job. He got leave, the whole thing. He made a deal with the doctor to return to work. And he would come back on Wednesdays, drip. So he would drive 5 hours, drip for 2, turn around and go home. And then he would come back and stay Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, go home. I knew this wasn't going to last, but I let him think it would. After 3 weeks of this, he finally said to me one day, Danny, I can't do this anymore. I changed my schedule so I would stay a little later on Wednesday so I could see him.
Mm-hmm.
So he was sitting in the chair and he just said, I'm not going to do this anymore. I got to get back to work. Like, I got to get back to my life, whatever. So I was like, okay. He's like, do something to keep me in this chair or else I'm not going to do this. I said, all right, tell me something about your life. And he's like, well, I was recruited by the CIA directly out of college. I'm like, well, that's cool. You know, like that's not something you hear every day from somebody. I'm like, what was it like? And he's like, I didn't take it. And he was telling me like, you know, just the gist of it. And I said, oh, you should have taken it. We could have found out what was in Area 51. You know, I was making some jokes.
Right.
He went, no, it was for the Trends and Intentions Division, the most boring division of the CIA. So I'm like, oh, okay. And I'm thinking, what the heck can I do with that? So I said, well, you big CIA dude, you know where lime comes from. And he went, oh, Plum Island. And he gave me all like the conspiracy theories. And I said, no. And to this day, I do not know what made me say this. The Fae. And he looked at me and he went, the what? And I was like, you know, fairies. They're getting back at us for the way we treat the environment. Like I was just making it up. And he went, tell me more about the Fae. And I went, oh, come on, you're a CIA guy. You're here to see if the nurse is really the brains behind this Lyme disease thing. And I'm just making stuff up. And I was like, you're here to find out about that Fae human hybrid that's working in the Lyme disease clinic. And I just started making stuff up. And he was like, well, who are the Fae? And out of my mouth just came, angels who were locked out of heaven. And he went, huh? And every day I would tell him a new part of the story. And I just make it up off the top of my head. And that's what I kept doing. And
no way.
The doctor had like this big black Labrador. And so the dog walked in and I was like, oh, and the king of the dark fae had a black dragon. And the dog walked in and I would make something up.
Yeah.
And the story just kept going. And so that's what I do. Every time he came in, I told him a new part of it. And I put him in as the CIA agent who was there to find out if the nurse was really a fae hybrid. And I just kept telling him parts of the story, making it up. And it kept him in the chair. And that's all I thought it was.
Yeah.
Like, didn't think anything of this. I was like, I'm going to PA school. I just got to keep this man in this chair. That's it.
Yeah.
I went into anaphylactic shock because I had a needle stick. A couple months later, I almost died. And it turned out I was allergic to all the drugs that I was working with and had been working with for over a year and a half. And that was the source of my hives, my breathing issues, all of it. And I continued working. We put some protocols in place.
Yeah.
I went back into shock 3 months later. And my physician stepped in and was like, you're a girl with a peanut allergy working in a peanut butter factory.
Basically.
You got to get out. This is not going to work. I went into research, got into PA school, and they were like, no, you can't with this out. You're allergic to this entire class of drugs. No. And at that point, my patient went, are you going to go write this book now? He's like, the universe is literally saying, go write the book. And I still fought it. I started writing it, but I was like, what am I going to do? I'm not an author. Started writing it.
This isn't what I do.
Yeah, I was like, I don't even know where to start.
Yeah.
Like, what do you... And I'm writing it, and I'm writing like chapter 59, and I'm going back to chapter 2. And out of it, I wrote 3 books in 9 months, the first drafts of 3 books. Still had no idea what I was doing. I applied to another PA program that I got into, and then I got the first book picked up, and they told me, if your book comes out while you're in the program, you're actually in violation of your employer contract. You're not supposed to work while you're in the program. It's a $30,000 fine and you get kicked out.
Okay.
It's time for you to make a decision. What are you doing? Are you an author or are you a PA?
Oh my God.
And at that point, I picked up the dice, called my father and went, does this count that I got into med school? And he goes, it says med school, right? I go, the acceptance letter says med school. He goes, it counts. I went, I'm going to be an author, Dad. Got to go. Click. rolled the dice and said, I'm betting on red. And I said no to PA school, which, you know, we'll see if that was a good choice or not. We don't know. And published the book. And that's what I went with. Once again, do we know if it was the right idea? We're all trying to figure this out. But, you know, my patient I still speak to, he bought the first book the day it came out.
Oh, well, that's sweet. He better at that point. He got you to give up your entire livelihood, so he better at least pay the $11.99.
He keeps joking. He's like, when does my literary persona come out? I'm like, you're later on in the series, dude. Agent Graham, we meet later.
Yeah.
I'm like, you know, you're going to have to hold off. I have to establish the world first. But I did not set out like, oh, I'm going to be an author. I had no idea what I was doing. So if anybody out there wants to know what not to do, totally call me. And I will tell you every mistake I made, because I made a lot of them. A lot of them.
We all do.
I got every scam, every swindle. Trust me, they got me.
Yeah.
But eventually you figure it out.
Yeah.
But no, I had no idea. I mean, I would write chapters and I hand wrote everything. First of all, I hand wrote it. I mean, who the hell handwrites? I still handwrite.
You had like a notebook or journal? Yeah,
I had journals, and I would sit there and handwrite it. I mean, Jarbok was originally named Farjuk. It's just that when I got to the computer, my dyslexia kicked in and he became Jarbok. I mean, that's what happened. It was like I went in with something else, and you know, it was like little things like that happened. I would listen. I would lay in bed, replay a chapter in my head like it was a TV show. Yeah. And if I got bored, I'm like, hell, my reader's going to get bored and rewind it. And then I'd sit there with a notepad on the side and be like, okay, I got to get rid of that. They're never going to like that, you know, and keep going. But half the characters in the book are people I know. Hoggle is my father. The metal gnome is my dad. My dad races motorcycles.
Oh, okay. I was like, crap. Pop quiz. Who's Hoggle?
Who's Hoggle? Come on. Yeah. That's my dad. My dad is a salty motorcycle guy who, you know, I grew up in his auto body shop.
Yeah.
Marco's my uncle, because out of all my uncles, he was the only one my dad could stand to work with. So, you know, Hoggle's apprentice, that's Marco's my Uncle Ronnie.
Wait, who's the shitty fae on the council that's just like against everything Aurora wants to do?
Okay, the bishops, I'll tell you something funny. When I was in Taekwondo, I had the head of our whole organization was Mr. Bishop, and he hated my guts. So the bishops are Mr. Bishop. You know,
all of them?
It's not that deep. You know what I mean? The bishops are Mr. Bishop. Bishop hated my guts, and everything I did, he was always circumventing me in some way, shape, or form. So the bishops are all Mr. Bishop.
Uh-huh.
That's really, Aurora. Yeah, that's really, like I said, not that deep. But you know, Serena, Lady Serena the Mermaid, is my best friend from high school. I could be driving a car off a cliff and she would be cheering like, you're doing so good. This is such a great idea. That she'd be clapping the entire time. The line, you had me at we shouldn't be doing this. We broke into a water park at 20 years old. It was next to a bar. Who puts a water park next to a bar? It's a dumb idea right there. It's a dumb idea.
They want to get the insurance money?
It's a bad idea. And literally, we had two friends with us, and we're staring up at this big water slide. And I went, you know, we shouldn't be doing this. And she stopped me, and she went, you had me. We shouldn't be doing this. Let's go. And I was like...
Everybody needs a friend like her.
Yep. And that was it. And I told her, I said, you're Lady Serena. Everybody needs a Lady Serena. So everybody in the book is somebody I know, because to me, writing is just, whether you're writing in the fantasy world or a mystery, it's all interpersonal dynamics. If you're throwing a plasma ball at them or not, it doesn't matter. Anybody can do it. It's just taking it, you know, into that.
I'm falling in love with your story more and more. Like I read like the press kit that you sent, and I'm like, oh yeah, that's cute. But like to hear it really, what it really looked like, I'm just getting such an appreciation. And I just admire you for, you know, you don't
Oh,
sugarcoat it. You're like putting it straight out there. Like, yeah, I wrote a book, and it's doing well. It's widely loved. Like you're
thank
over
you.
10,000 followers on Instagram because you have your own little Fae army or Fae corps because they just love you and what you're doing.
My Fae friends, they've been very good. It's been well received. I'm happy. We are doing, before the end of the podcast, I do have a little exclusive that I will give to you guys for our second edition. I left my first publisher, who was wonderful. Icon was great, but they'd never done a fiction book. They'd only done nonfiction. We were the first fiction. And then I've moved to Four Horsemen, which I find so apropos that I'm with somebody called the Four Horsemen, all things considered.
Yeah.
And we're kind of moving more toward, that fiction nod and that core to get it out there and let everybody know, what we're doing. But I think what it is the story behind it, coming from a place that it did. I mean, like I said, I didn't set out to do it, but it was just authentic. I mean, my patient, and I refer to him as the patient, but he feels fine now. It's just, I'm trying to keep his privacy.
Yeah, sure.
We just started this. It was just a very weird journey. My resume that I sent to this office was lost for a year, and they were cleaning out behind the fax machine and found it and called me.
No
And
lie.
yeah, it was just so weird. They called me and they were like, yeah, we lost it. Are you still interested? And I was like, yeah, sure. Come on in. Like, I was like, yeah, let's go. And he literally had his consultation the day they called me. And then his first day of dripping was my first day. We just walked this path together, and it was just really weird.
It just seems, whatever you believe in, it feels like things are
Yes.
falling in alignment for
This
path.
We joke, because I always say his only his only flaw is that he's a Ravens fan. And that's how we started talking, is that I'm a Giants fan. Sorry. And he's a Ravens fan. So that was our joke. And that's how we started talking, was football. That's what got us going. And since then, we are, like I said, it's 7 years now. We still talk every day.
I love that.
And it just came from that place.
I love that you took the chance. You bet on yourself. Like
I bet on red.
You bet on red. Yeah, I love that. Like, you thought, do I go with what's safe, or do I get to find my passion and geek out loud every day of my life? And you said, this path.
I went with the geek. I have a big Wonder Woman tattoo on my shoulder. So I wear the geekiness 100%. When I graduated nursing school, here's a little tidbit. I made my nursing uniform, because we all had to wear one.
Yeah.
And I modeled it after Wonder Woman's nursing uniform in one of the comic books.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and my teacher wanted to kill me because I brought it in. And I was like, can I wear this? And I showed her it was a comic of Wonder Woman in a full nursing uniform, because Wonder Woman was a nurse. And she just looked at me and she went, Danielle, I don't really care. She's like, because you're not going to let this go. And I went, no, I'm not. I was like, it's technically a nursing uniform. She went, fine, wear it. She's like, I don't care. Wear it. She's like, just go. Just wear it. So I graduated in full Wonder Woman nursing gear even. So I geeked out on every level. I even, did that. So, if you're going to do it, you might as well go balls to the wall.
Right.
And I would wear my Wonder Woman bracelets when I was having a bad day, even at this Lyme clinic. I would wear my bracelets underneath my scrubs.
You're so cute.
Just to give me that I can get through this moment.
Yeah. Yes. Guys, just let me know what you're hearing from Danielle, all the gold that she's dropping. Tell us. Yeah, John says, that is awesome. I love that. This is what this channel was born from, is you geek out loud, your people find you. And it's really, you can hide the things you're passionate about. You can hide that part of you for fear of judgment, or you can just be yourself, geek out loud to the fullest extent. And the people that don't like it will stop caring. The people that will love it will just flock to you, like you have found on your social media. So I just want to kind of take a stroll down your
Please.
Instagram, if you'll allow me.
Oh, please.
And there's a lot of great tidbits from the book that you can kind of talk about as we go. Sound good?
That sounds great.
Okay. So how long ago did you first write Birth of the Fae?
It's been the first draft, which nobody wants to read. It was probably about 5 years ago.
Okay.
Yeah.
So in 5 years, this thing has blown up, and it just recently got an audiobook, right?
Yes, the audiobook came out. It's almost a month.
It's super fresh.
Yes.
That's the only reason it took me so long to get to you, because they're just waiting, so I didn't have to actually read anything.
I always wanted an audiobook because I'm an audiobook fan myself.
Hell yeah. You can just burn through them. It's so much easier.
Yes, I love them. Totally in there.
But you kind of mixed in your love of cosplay into your book. And so a lot of times you cosplay a lot of the characters, right?
I did. I just felt like as an author, it helped me because I realized some of the costumes were totally ridiculous.
Yeah.
Some of them have to work. That picture in particular is Aurora, which we did for a shoot coming up with Fae magazine and some other things. A fan, actually, Rainbow Corsetry, did that corset. It's from the book. You'll see it, I think, in book 2 or 3, which was, Rainbow Corsetry is awesome. But I realized playing the characters, you kind of get a feel for what they're like.
Mm-hmm.
But I also realized, some of the costumes, like when I would write them, totally ridiculous. Like it doesn't work. And that did help me as a writer.
You telling me this crown doesn't work? This works on
believe it or not, the crown doesn't work. Miss G Designs did a beautiful crown, but no, Serena cannot swim in the crown. But every girl, every gal should wear a crown and deserves a crown. But when it's 90 degrees, that crown melts. But
did you make that?
No, this was done by Miss G Designs from Instagram. Phenomenal. Mer Taylor did the tail, but all the crystal work on the tail, I did.
Nice.
And then my makeup artist, Denise Apostle, did the makeup, the wig. She painted me up with fishnet. So we put a fishnet on my arm, and then she dabbed that all to give that water appearance.
Totally works. That is so great. So this book has everything from fairies, from mermaids to the Will of the Wisp. I love this picture. I love that you've animated all of these too.
Yes.
Now I'm just going to picture all the characters in the book as you, just different versions of you.
You know what? At the time, I was trying to figure out what actually works and what these characters would look like. And somebody made the comment of, "Oh, it's so vain for you to do it." I'm like, do you know how much models cost? Yeah. I'm like, it's really expensive. If you can get in these costumes, it's just a lot easier. It's not a matter of like, oh, you're cute. It's just like, you got to get it done. And so,
bitch, I'll do what I want.
Yeah, sometimes you just got to work it.
Because then you also have some very powerful and more dark characters. Like you have the Power Brigade Angels. Just for a second, you go in length in the book, which I was just like drooling over. I'm like, I can't believe she put so much thought into all the mechanics of what it is to be a Power Brigade Angel. But maybe the Spark Notes version, can you tell us what a Power Brigade Angel is in the book?
A Power Brigade Angel is the lowest faction of angels that there can be. They are the foot soldiers to your archangels because, let's face it, your archangel is not going to go do the fighting. Okay. They're the generals. So your Power Brigade Angels are your foot soldiers. The minute they are brought into the brigade, they have to give up their identities. Their names are gone because to have a name is to have an ego. That's associated with Lucifer. So you could be tempted. Oh. So all of that is thrown away.
I missed that bit.
That's just what you are. You are now just a body, but you're imbued with power. So you have an celestial blade that's put into your right inner arm. And what that can do is your aura charges it. So your blade is always with you.
Mm-hmm.
But
So cool. I just pictured, like, especially as they gained worship from the humans, this like this huge, massive, like anime
yes,
style blade coming out of
yes,
the arm. It was so cool.
yes. So there's a lot to it, but eventually they start figuring out when they're locked out,
Mm-hmm.
they want their identities back. They want a name again. And so that's where it all kind of stems from for them, is they realize they were just bodies and they don't like that anymore.
I love that. And we have a question from the chat. Did you come up with the designs yourself, or did you consult with other people for the design ideas for the characters?
The characters themselves, those were mine, but I have a phenomenal makeup artist, Denise Apostle. So when her and I sit down, she helps breathe life into what I've kind of done. So I've done the outline, and then she comes in and says, well, let's try this, let's do that, when we're working to do the photo shoot. So then she kind of comes in and puts that finishing touches on things. When we did Lady Serena, it was her idea to make pink eyebrows and to really bring them the makeup in there, because I have the idea, but then she's got to take my words and make those characters life. She's got to bring them to life, and bringing them off the page, that's Denise's talent.
We all need somebody like that. Like, we all have an idea person, and then you have like a boots on the ground person.
Yeah, she helps out. Will, I have my friend Jacob. Sometimes he'll look at things and he'll be like, try this, let's do this. He'll give it out. He'll give me something else to work with. I haven't done full dark fae yet, because trying to get their armor right, that's taking me a little bit longer.
Yeah, and I love that you made it out of kyanite, which I've got a
Yes.
friend that is really into crystals, and she talked to me all about like the power of kyanite, and I've got some upstairs in my room as protection that she gave me. And
Yes.
it's like burned into their skin, and I was just like picturing that. I'm like, that looks so cool. So I can't wait till you have something physical that we can see.
Yeah, I'm working on that. That's my for one of the book covers, we are working with to do a dark fae.
Sweet. But what we're looking at now is Aurora's crown, Queen Aurora.
That is an
Right?
interpretation of Queen Aurora's crown with the Angelite disc. This was done by Enchanting Earth Co. And that's a real Angelite disc. So with Uriel, Archangel Uriel's sigil embroidered or inscribed onto
Engraved,
it.
yeah.
Yep, engraved on, thank you. And so that is real crystal. She actually was inspired by the book, worked with me, and now she sells them. So everybody can have a real Aurora crown. I mean, it's pretty cool.
Okay, help me out. Is Angelite like a mineral? Is it, like you said, a real Angelite? I thought Angelite
That's
just
real
meant of
Angelite. That's a
angels.
real crystal. Yep.
Oh, the whole time I was like, yeah, of angels, Angelite. Got it.
Yeah. It does help with communication with the higher plane. So there was a reason why I chose Angelite.
Of course. And is this what you're wearing like currently?
This is what I'm currently wearing. Yes, I have the first one, which she gifted me with. This was the first prototype. Yep. So there it is. So I always have my Aurora crown with me.
But if you read the book, and I encourage everyone to go get your book, listen to it, buy it, do whatever you need to get your hands on this book, because it's the first of, already it sounds like first of at least 3 in your series.
So far I have 7.
Holy shit, Danielle.
Written and we will be more coming and planned and ready.
But one of the themes throughout that I gained is, like you said in the beginning, let me just hide this for a minute. It deals with angels who have been locked out of heaven and kind of almost abandoned by their god. And they kind of lose that faith, and they realize that the god of the head of the Shining Kingdom maybe isn't as all powerful, all loving, all knowing as they were led to believe. And I really latched onto that conversation between, who was it? It was Aurora and who was she talking to? Where she was, or no, it wasn't Aurora. Who was it?
Are you? I think you're thinking of Zion and Asa, Empathy for the Devil.
Yes, and
yes.
It was 2 Power Brigade angels who were thinking, you know what, maybe this god that we followed isn't better than even the Lucifer that we fought, because at least Lucifer brought demons back to hell with him, and God abandoned us.
Right. Yes. That was that's one of the many chapters that got me in trouble on my blasphemy list. I'm on 2 now, so I feel like I've made it in some capacity.
I think you
but
have.
You know, what the hell do I know? You know, I didn't. It's funny because I didn't set out to trigger anybody.
Sure.
But of course I've done that. You know, the whole point was to start a conversation. I can't say I even started, you know, I didn't go set out like, I'm going to start a conversation about religion. I grew up in a very Catholic household. I went to CCD every weekend. I've taken the sacraments. I've done all that, but I've always been curious about religion, because to me, a God that takes attendance baffled me a little bit. You know, like, why could I only speak in church, and why could he only hear me, and why do I have to be there? You know, I've read the Bible. Yeah, I was always a little bit like, wow, this is kind of weird. So I would go to Bible study groups and I would listen. But in 7th grade, and my friend Jen was with me, before confirmation, they made us read a book called Purgatory. And the cover, I will never forget, was orange with a black window and a white hand reaching through it. And it made you calculate your venial sins. And it was for every venial sin you burned 7 years in the white fire. You cannot give a 7th grader this formula and expect us not to do it.
Right.
So I sat in the back of the classroom and calculated how many years at that point by 7th grade I was going to burn in the white fire of purgatory. I was going to be in purgatory for well over 5,000 years. So at this point, I was like, we're all going to hell in a handbasket. And I stood up in the middle of class and I was like, and I remember Jen was right next to me laughing her ass off. Steve Burns was on the other side of me, literally trying to light up a cigarette by 7th grade, because he was like, well, we're already going. And poor Don Dingy, who like was still mad at me because I wouldn't kiss him in 6th grade because my dad told me my tongue was going to turn a color, was like back in there going, well, if you're going to hell, we're all going. And I was like, I'm going to purgatory for 5,000 years. And I had calculated it all out based on what a venial sin was. And I panicked. And my father was like, they had to pull me out of class because the whole class was now calculating. And my father walks in, who's a super Catholic man, and was like, why would you give this to my daughter of all people? And they were like, she caused a revolt in there. And he was like, of course she did. Have you met her? He was like, yeah. Like, this was the wrong kid to give this to.
Right.
And I was like, am I in trouble? He's like, no. They shouldn't have given you this book, whatever. You're still making confirmation. You're fine. Don't worry about it. Talk to God. And I'm like, apparently I can only talk to him in church. Like, he doesn't hear me. And he's like, he's around. And I was so thrown off by this that I kept reading. And I kept researching other religions, whatever. And so my friend would go to Reborn Again church. And I didn't understand that. So I'm like, okay. And she had a cute guy in her youth group. I'll tell you, to be honest, that's the only reason why I went. Nope. Kenny Parsons was his name. He was a wrestler. So I went to her. Yeah. Hi, Kenny. I know you're watching right now. Yeah. You know, I followed to that one. And I went to that church one day. And I think it was some stupid thing where it was like, close your eyes. If you want a better relationship with God, raise your hand.
Classic.
I'm the idiot who raises their hand. Well,
sure. I
should have kept my eyes open. Because then they're like, my child, come to the altar. And I look around and I'm like, oh, crap. I'm the only one with their hand up, their hand up. And shit. I go walking up to the altar and a bunch of people follow me and they all got their hand on my shoulder. And I'm like, oh, God. And they're asking me a bunch of questions. I'm like, yeah. Because I'm like, just say yes and get your butt out of here. So at the end of it, they look at me and they go, your name is now in the book of life. And in front of the entire church, I go, am I still Catholic? Because if not, my dad's going to kill me. Because that was all I could think to say. Because I was like, I'm in 7th grade. Like,
right.
And they were like, you are reborn again. And I'm like, am I still 12? What does this mean?
I start over? Am I one?
Yeah, like I don't,
And still a 12-year-old, you're born again.
And they walked me out, drove me home, and the whole time I'm like, I can't tell my father, he'll kill me. And I get home and I tell him, and my dad's like, what? And he's like, you're making confirmation in May, kid. Like, that's, just stop. He's like, stop looking into everything, read the Bible, whatever. And so religion has always been this nebulous thing.
Mm-hmm.
So when I did the book, I started researching things. I found out that, yes, there were virtue angels. That in Catholicism, that part is true. The rest of it I made up. I didn't set out to insult anybody. I didn't intend to spark all these debates, but that chapter in particular you're referring to, where Zion and Asa are talking and saying, well, gee, we got locked out by our creator who we gave all this to. And Lucifer took his horde back and protected them. Yeah. Have we been told the right thing? Sparked this whole blasphemy debate. And then, like I said, I find myself on 2 blasphemy lists. I've got a group petitioning the Vatican to have the book removed. And I'm sitting here going, you know, it's a fiction book, right? Like, flag on the play, people. We understand this is a fiction book, that I just used angels as my basis. And I just retold the origin of the fae. This is as far as it went. But people are real funny about this stuff, you know?
When you touch the religious button, the crazies come out.
I get threatened on Instagram weekly. The best one I get is, can we have your home address so we can send you this book about God because we feel you're mad at him? So my new response, because I used to ignore it, but that didn't work. So my new response is, Lucifer has not told me what realm of hell we're building our castle when we marry, but as soon as he does, I will let you know.
That's brilliant.
That's where I got to go with it now.
Yeah. Because
I was getting literally people saying, you need to read this book about why are you mad at God, or you need healing, you need, an exorcism. I mean, the stuff I was getting was so crazy that I'm like, you guys realize it's a book, right? Like, I understand the Fae didn't part the Red Sea. I get that. Like, I understand.
Which is in the book, by the way. My God, I loved that part.
Which is in the book. But yeah, it's a part. And now I joke and I'm like, wait till you get later on in the series, because I got a whole chapter called Religulous now where I'm just poking that snake.
Honestly, I'm more excited. By the time I got to the end, I thought I saw where you're going with this. Because I'm like, why are they fighting out in some random desert around the Red Sea? And you said the Red Sea, and I was like, oh, okay, whatever. But then you brought it to that, and I was like, oh, hell yeah.
Yeah, I went right in.
For this.
Oh, I went right in. I was like, yeah, here we go.
Yeah. Because honestly, okay, spoiler alert, read the book, but Queen Aurora, Queen of the Fae, actually is the one who parts the Red Sea, and God takes credit for it. But the very start of the book, I learned that it was about angels, and my cackles raised because I come from my own deep-seated, like, from youth, raised in the church, recently, like, really? Why? What? Can you answer this? No? Oh, it's bullshit? Cool, got it. Let's live our lives. And so instantly I'm like, oh, okay, I hope this isn't a religious book. And then the more I read it, I was like, oh, it is not a religious book.
No, it's not.
She and I are going to be best friends.
I go right in because I think there's just, and this is why I've made some enemy. I mean, I've literally had people drop off book tours after the first chapter. Jeez. They have just been like, I cannot read this book. I've had podcasters cancel me and then literally block me on Instagram.
You don't need them.
And I'm just like, I kind of laugh because I'm like, look, you go on, Fox News still has Democrats on it, and MSNBC has Republicans. Like, you still have to get the other side of things. Yeah. So hear me out.
There's a moth flying around my head.
Maybe it's a pixie.
Sorry, I just killed it.
It's kind of, I see it as both sides. I've had people say the book is too violent. But I always joke, I'm not a young adult book.
Right.
I'm totally not. I say it. I've had people say, there's no romance. I'm like, these angels have been locked out of heaven, have to start a new life. No, Aurora does not have time to date.
Oh, she got shit to do. She got to start her life over.
Exactly.
On a
You know,
planet, people.
just because they're fae doesn't mean they're looking for love. They got stuff to do. My girl's, she got a kingdom to rule.
Yeah.
Jarvok's hell-bent on destruction. He ain't looking for a chick. So, you know, I'm just like, I just don't have time. But when they threaten me, I just look and I laugh. And once again, I tell them the same thing. Please direct all questions to my husband, Lucifer. I'm not sure what realm of hell he's in right now, but he'll get back to you. Leave a message.
Hey, if Lucifer ain't pissed that you're writing a book about people who fought against him, then they shouldn't be pissed about people that fought against God. But Spooky R is with you. Overly judgmental religious people make me frustrated. I had several hour rant about this.
I'm right there with you.
This is why we're friends. But
Yep.
Speaking of the violence, because I know I've got a few people that are really interested in your ninja background. And
yes, I do.
So a lot of your fight scenes are so specific, and you can picture it, and I see exactly where that blade is hitting and how they counter it, and it's like you can see the kinesthetic just knowledge interwoven so deeply in your writing. So tell us a little bit about your martial arts background.
I've been in martial arts almost my whole life now. When it comes to writing my fight scenes, I act them all out first to make sure it's gonna work. It's got to work, or else what the hell am I doing? So that's the first thing I do. It's got to be realistic, which I love. You know, that's got to be it. I'm inducted into the Hall of Fame. I studied Taekwondo, old style, ITF style, and then moved on to Kung Fu.
Of Taekwondo?
World Martial Art Hall of Fame.
Oh my God, you're so badass.
And then I competed with the WKA, with the US team in 2008. Yeah, 2008. For Wushu. I did Eagle Claw, and I took the silver medal. I lost the gold by 1/100th of a point for a wardrobe issue.
Wardrobe malfunction, they'll get you every time.
It gets you every time. It really does. So, but that's okay. Silver looks good. I'll take silver. You know, it was awesome because I got to go to Disney World and compete and represent Team USA. So I got to walk with Mickey. I was all good. But I've taught alongside Sifu Vincent Lin. I was his protege, which was awesome. Vincent's great human being.
Wish I knew who that name was. Sounds awesome. I have no relevance to
that. Operation Condor, Jackie Chan. He was the villain. He's been in, Hong Kong movie star. He's Vincent's everywhere. He's also a concert pianist. He's just a Renaissance man. He's accomplished in so many things, and he's a phenomenal human being, humanitarian. We worked on what is now the WWE, but at the time was the WWF Super Bowl commercial, the first one that they did. We worked on that together. That's where I met The Rock. I met, God rest her soul, China. Worked with Triple H, Mankind, The Undertaker, just about every major wrestler at the time I worked with during that. It was really cool. I mean, it was an awesome experience. Vincent hooked that up. It was really great. But I have black belt in Taekwondo, Kung Fu, fusion style. I've done MMA. I've even worked with Tiger Schulman's group, which I believe it or not, everybody kind of jokes about Tiger Schulman. When it comes to MMA, they're actually the real deal. Their fighters are very, very good. But yeah, I've done all different styles, and I've used that to bring it into the book and give my fight scenes as much realistic, much of a realistic flair as possible.
Yeah, sorry. I thought there was a few pictures that I remember. Maybe it was on another account of you like in some fighting stance. So I was trying to find that on Instagram.
Oh, that's probably the sword picture. Yeah. That I think we've done that in stories. That's probably why. But yeah, I've done the sword pictures and stuff like that. But I loved competing. I competed everywhere up and down the East Coast. That's how I started, was competing. and I did forms. I did fighting, but mostly open tournaments.
You've done it all.
I've tried to do a little bit of everything
all at once.
You know what? It's funny. I usually fell into a lot of this. Like I didn't start out competing. Yeah. You know, my instructor just dropped me off at a tournament one day. It was literally like, no, he didn't tell me. He told me we were cleaning the school and to hurry up and get there early. And then I got to the school and he was like, get in the car. We got to go get cleaning supplies. And I'm like, okay. I'm an idiot. I got in with him. And then he drove about 20 minutes and dropped me off at a middle school. And I just saw all these people going in with their, you know, all dressed up and they had their weapons. And he's like, by the way, you're competing. I don't even think the car stopped. I think he just opened the door and pulled the tuck and roll. And I was like, get out.
If you're
and he's like, I signed you up.
Student, you won't die when don't stop the car.
Yeah. And he just like kicked me out. And I was like, what? And he's like, yeah, I signed you up. Go. And I just waited on, he went and parked the car. I was waiting on the curb. And he's like, let's go. And I'm like, what are we doing? He's like, oh, you're competing. He walked me in and I walked into this big gymnasium with all the rings like taped on the floor. And he's like, guess what? This is what we're doing. Go watch and figure it out. And I got to a ring and all these people were screaming. And I'm like, what are they doing? And he's like, yep, this is what you're doing today. And yeah, that's what we did. And I learned that day what it meant to come. It's not like the Karate Kid. I learned very quickly. There was no Danielson karate kick. It was not Cobra Kai.
Strike hard, strike first.
Yeah, strike hard, strike first. Yes, no, that's correct. In point sparring, that is 100% correct. That's the one thing that I will give Johnny a lot of credit for. He is right.
Yeah.
And yeah, I competed. I won, and he was like, "Do you want more of those?" Good. He's like, "Do it yourself." And I was like, "Oh, okay, thanks."
But that's a lot of trust. I mean, he wouldn't have done that if he didn't, A, know you were capable, and B, trust that you would tear shit up.
I think he wanted to get me off his back. Like, he wanted to give me something. And he was just like, this will give her something to do. Just get her the hell out of here. And I think he wanted me to get my ass kicked. He did not expect me to win.
Oh, that kind of teacher. Got it.
Yeah, it was more that. I remember like the first girl I fought was just bouncing around me and I was just watching her and I'm like, what do I do? And he's like, hit her. He's like, hit her. And I'm like, what? And then I just went up and punched her and I'm like, did I win? What is this? But I won forms and then I won fighting and he was like, okay, now you're going to get your ass kicked a lot. But he's like, you need this. And I'm like, okay, why do I need this? And he's like, it'll toughen you up. This is a good thing. Because my school was all men. So I was getting my ass kicked like all the time. Mm-hmm. So he wanted me to start fighting girls and people my own size. Sure. And so I was like, oh, okay. And he's like, you know, his first thing was, he's like, I don't want you ever wearing makeup when you go. He's like, you will wear 2 sports bras. And that's how it is. And I'm like, oh, all right. Like there was no half shirt, nothing. He's like, I don't want anybody to ever say you're a girl. And I'm like, okay, that's how he ran it.
Jeez. Like the respect level for you is like increasing, like 1+ experience every time you open your mouth. So it's just like through the roof now. It is, in fact, you are the coolest person I know. Sorry to all the people in the chat that are my friends. But I think you have a new follower by Troy Bushido. He said, damn, that's extensive when you were listing off all that training that you have.
Oh, thank you, Troy.
And this guy knows it because he's got his own fitness program.
I was going to say, I see Bushido in there, so I know.
Yeah, he gets it. And he was actually our first guest here on the Geek Out Sesh. So I love that he tunes in. He was excited. He doesn't know you. He's never read your book. Sorry, I'm outing you, Troy. But he saw what you do, and he's like, oh, tomorrow's going to be the best guest we've ever had.
Thank you.
He just knew it. So he tuned in just for you.
Thank you so much, Troy. I appreciate it.
Can you speak to Spooky Aura says, bless your soul, because getting hit in the titty sucks?
Getting kicked between the legs as a girl sucks. Let me tell you something. I have been kicked there. It has brought me to my knees.
Low blow.
Many times. Many times. People don't chamber. Or you hold your leg up in a round kick chamber because you hit somebody in the head and you hold it there. Yeah, Yeah, I had a guy bring his knee up right between the legs. Oh my gosh. Tears.
I can only imagine. I know that just because it's not quite the same down there doesn't mean it doesn't hurt.
Oh, it hurts.
I mean, getting kicked anywhere sensitive hurts.
It hurts. When a guy knees you there, oh yeah. And And I can still remember it.
Like mini childbirth.
Yep. So, you know, it all rounds out in the end.
Well, you guys, honestly, if you're not convinced yet about how cool Danielle is and why you should go buy her book, then I don't know what you're still doing here. Get out, because she's so cool, and her book it's literally, I wouldn't say this if I didn't actually believe it. I loved the book.
Thank you so much.
Really.
I really appreciate that.
And I can't wait to see where the story continues to go, especially for being like your first book. It wasn't your first draft, I'm positive, but it was your first book, right?
Yes, this was my first book. We are coming out with a second edition since I've moved to the Four Horsemen. And that will have a new prologue, which we might see a new side of Lucifer.
Yeah, I'd love to hear his side. Yeah.
So we might get a little glimpse of Lucifer and what we won't see the exact cause of all of this, but we will possibly see a glimpse of what happened to start the war.
Yeah.
So we will see that. And then book 2 is already on its way. It's Birth of the Fae, Thine Eyes of Mercy. And this will take us into what has happened with the war. It's going to fast forward a little bit into
the war between the Court of Light and the Court of Dark.
Yes, what's happened between their war, where Jarvok's head is at, King Jarvok, what exactly he's thinking about. Should he end the war? Should he not? You know, he thought this was going to be a quick war. But also the prologues will now be told from Lucifer's point of view.
Love that.
So Lucifer is on the board. Lucifer has never left the board. He's always been there. So you'll kind of get that play. And then we have a new enemy. You know, while the Fae have been sitting here toiling in war, humanity's been evolving.
Yeah.
So we also have different religions. You know, it's been this pagan thing, but Christianity's been evolving as well. So what happens when the creator becomes the star of his religion?
I'd get ready for more hate mail from even more religions.
Oh, I'm sure they're gonna hate me. But you know, we're just gonna go with it. You know, whatever.
Just roll with it.
What am I gonna do? So, but you know, they will have a new enemy in humanity. You know, monarchs in Europe have started to grow, and I'm gonna investigate or expand a little bit upon Queen Mary the First.
Ooh, okay.
Because everybody always plays King Henry or Queen Elizabeth, but what happened to Queen Mary? So I'm gonna stay with that aspect a little bit.
Bringing history aspects into this already well-rounded, well-balanced universe you're creating.
Yes, I'm gonna play with that, and play with Queen Mary a little bit. Do a little alternative history play, and that theme will stick for the rest of this series. And I will be taking well-known events and putting a face spin on them.
I can't wait. And Oceana says, I understand if you can't tell us, but will the next books have audiobooks, or is that still in the pipeline?
Yes, I'm going to be sticking with audiobooks. I love what Skyboat Media did for the first one. So I'd like to be sticking with Skyboat Media because I think they just did a phenomenal job bringing, especially Jarvok and Aurora to life. I liked the idea of the 2 narrators, the male and the female. I loved that. Yeah, I really like that personally. So I plan on sticking with that and keeping it going. So the next book, I believe the plan is to release book 2 later in the fall, but just for you. Just for you guys. We have the cover of book 1, the new one. I hope you can see that. There it is.
My God, that's you.
That is me in my cosplay glory.
Guys, you're looking at the first FGBG exclusive that's ever
Yep.
happened.
There it is.
Oh, wow. And
That
I
is
like that you chose
Raycor.
the title, Locked Out of Heaven, Birth of the Fae, Book 1, rather
Yep.
than Birth of the Fae, Locked Out of Heaven. And which
So
dragon is that behind you?
that is Raycor, the acid breather.
Zion's go-to, right?
Yes, you got it.
Haha, see, I read it. I swear I did. Or
there it is.
Kiara
So
right.
that was your
read it. I listened to it.
The Four Horsemen publications have decided that since I'm a cosplayer, from now on the book covers will be all cosplay covers.
That is so cool. Way to bring cosplay to the forefront. But why did you choose Serena, the mermaid, like the Aurora's best friend, as the cosplay cover rather than Aurora?
Well, because Serena to me is the one that stands out in book 1. She's the ride or die girl. Mm-hmm. So I felt that she should really be the one to kind of star in book 1.
Okay.
She's cheering her on.
Yeah.
So it's, as much as it's an origin story for Jarvok and Aurora, Serena kind of kicks it all off because she is the first one to meet Jarvok. And she's the one who tells him, you're not just a lowly Power Angel. Mm-hmm. So I felt that she should really be the one to star on book 1.
Okay. I'm all about everything you're doing, Danielle. I think this is incredible. And if you guys are resonating with what she's doing, you can use Command Fae, and you can follow her on Instagram and continue the journey. You can use Command Book, and you can go buy yourself a book, support her that way. Or if you just want to hang out with her, just hit her up on Instagram, because like, I just love that you've really become a strong part of our community here at FGBG. I love like waking up in the morning and I just see like you've reacted to some stupid shit we put on the story, but like you're just geeking out with us, and that's what we all need sometimes.
I think we all need a little geekiness. I think geeks are great. We're all, I'm a geek at heart. It doesn't, I've been to Comic-Con so much and done all that at the end of the day, I think I always joke, geeks, we smell our own. We know who the real geeks are and who's just jumping on the bandwagon. Mm-hmm. So, I just think what I've noticed is that the geek community, the cosplay community, were the first ones to support me. And so I always want to acknowledge it and give back. And for me, my biggest dream for this is to one day see a bunch of cosplayers dressed as Jarvok and Aurora. Like, that's, people are like, what do you want? You want a movie or this? And I'm like, no, I want a cosplay calendar of a bunch of people dressed up as the Fae. And that's what I want.
Oh my God. What would you do if you walked into a con and you saw an Aurora walk up to you?
I would die. That would be it. I'd be like, okay, I'm done. Like, my dream is done. Even when people are like, don't you want a movie? I'm like, no, I want an anime.
Hell yeah.
That was my first response.
This needs an anime. 100%.
I want a Birth of the Fae anime. Don't get me wrong, movie's nice and all, but no, I want an anime. Like, that's more my thing. You know what I'm saying? Like, I want a graphic novel.
Yeah.
That's where I want to go with it. I want that kind of stuff. That's my geekiness. Like, I'm thinking, yeah, I want, Image Comics to give me a buzz, and I want Todd McFarlane to be like, yeah, we're going to do a statue of Aurora and Jarvok, Yeah. Like, that's the stuff. I want to go to Comic-Con and be like, yeah, that's my booth over there.
Yeah. This is my panel. This is my autograph. Excuse me.
I want to explain to people how you make a fire-breathing dragon, and it's not just magic. Mm-hmm. That's the stuff I want to, like, I want to talk to people about that and not just be like, oh, no, it's just magic. No, like, that's not, like, let's get down to how do you make it fly? What do you do? Because I think that's the stuff you're into. It's not just, it's not just expected of us. Like, we're just not going to, geeks are smart. Like, we get it. We're going to call you out.
How did this really happen?
Actually, they know it. Like, I always joke, I want my dragons, like, if we ever get called out on Mythbusters, I want to be plausible. That's like my dragon test. I want to be plausible.
I love that you're thinking about that the whole time.
That's what I think about. Like, I just want to be plausible, and then I can walk away going, okay, I think that worked.
Well, I think you're definitely on the path. You already have a great crew on Instagram, 10K strong and growing, and hopefully this little corner of the internet can help spread the gospel.
The gospel, there you go.
Of the Fae, and they can tell everyone about the book. Everyone go buy the book, at least listen to it on Audible. You won't be disappointed, because I cannot wait for the next installment in the series, and I just want to support you. And I hope after tonight, you guys just see this wonderful human that is here. Support her. Who cares if you read the book? Just support her, because she's doing it right, and she's doing it for the right reasons, and she's here for it. So be here for her. Can I just share the dedication that you
please
put in the front of this book? I just saw this, and if this doesn't resonate with what we're about and about geeking out loud, then I don't know what. This is how I just knew that Danielle was my people. So your dedication, if you can't read it, says, to all the free thinkers and anyone who's told they had a vivid imagination, were too dramatic or flamboyant, never be ashamed of who you are. You never know where it will take you or the worlds you will create. Believe in yourself. I never said it was easy, but it is so much more fun. I love that so much.
Thank you.
So thank you for all you've done.
No, thank you. I think we've all been there, especially if you're a geek, a nerd, a dork, whatever name you've been called. I think we've all been there. We've all been told, you're this, you're that. Everybody's always tried to put you in a box. And I know I've been called that. And it's funny when you hear people say, oh, I was a nerd, I was a geek, and you kind of look at them and go, yeah, right. I'm sitting here with blue wings. Believe me, I've been called these names before. I've got a big Wonder Woman tattoo on my shoulder. I've been called a couple names before. You know what? It's okay. That's the basis I can tell you. Yeah, it gets rough. But you know what? Sometimes the road less traveled, for all the bumps, all the divots in it, it just makes the scenery a little more interesting around it when the world is going up and down. So I can just tell you, hang in there. That's it. And if your escape is a book, whether it's a comic book, a fantasy book, whatever it is, it's a little more fun. Go for it, because I've been there many times, many times. So if venturing into the veil gives you a little support or gives you an escape, I'm happy. If you're that one person that I reach, my work is done.
Everyone just give it up for Danielle M. Orsino, please. Oh my God. This has been so great. And it's not over. We're not done.
No.
Because I like to end on a fun note, though. Like, I'm just feeling so inspired by you. And I'm more dedicated now. I'm like, yeah, FGBG, this is my Birth of the Fae. And I want to, I don't even know, but who knows? I'm going to fly by the seat of my pants like Danielle and just see what comes and just see where the universe takes me.
Go for it.
So thank you so much for being here. Everyone, go follow. Honest. But actually, I need your help.
What can I do for you?
I know this is you probably get this all the time, but I'm
not dressing up for you. I'm already dressed up.
Okay, then never mind. Next question.
Okay.
I'm actually writing my own book, and I'm having a little bit of writer's block, as I'm sure you've experienced. So I have like the base of what I want to say, but I just need a little help with the mechanics of it. Would you mind just giving your authoritative advice to help me write my book?
Sure.
And chat, feel free. I think I might need your help too, because
make it a group effort.
Yeah, I'm collaborative. I like to bring people in.
Cool.
So okay, this is chapter 1. I immediately ran into trouble in chapter 1. But I need like a mystical creature. Like, give me a mystical creature.
Unicorn.
Oh my God, unicorn. I don't know why I didn't think of that. That's exactly what I needed. Okay. So then I also need, give me an adjective.
Oh, flashy.
Okay. And I guess what I need is just like any noun. A person, a place, a thing. Well, maybe not a place, more like a person or a thing.
Let's see. Why don't you put yourself in there?
Oh, just like you did. You brought your real life into.
Yes. Yeah.
Oh my God. I never even thought of that. I didn't think that was allowed.
Oh.
I'm going to put Boser. Okay.
Yeah.
Boser. Okay. Thank you. I need one more adjective.
Let's see. What's your favorite color?
I guess blue.
Let's go with blue.
Okay. Blue. Okay. Oh my God. This chapter's coming to life, you guys.
Is it? Okay.
It is. It literally is. I need a location.
Well, does it have to be a real location, or can we just
not.
We're
just creating. We're vibing here.
Okay. Why don't you put him in the Vale? Put him in the Epican Forest.
In the Vale. And I don't know how to spell Epican, so I'm going to say Vale.
Okay, let's just go with the Vale. Yeah. Okay. Let's keep this simple.
Okay. Okay. I need another describing word. Description. Chat, you're not helping. You're not helping at all. Come on.
Yeah,
chat.
we might have to get to the chat. I mean, I don't want to hog it all up.
I mean, you are the expert. You're the pro. None of us have published a book.
I like the idea of a rainbow tail.
Ooh, a rainbow tailed. Give me another creature. No. You already said it. Unicorn. That fits. That fits.
Okay.
Okay, I need a verb.
Bludgeoned.
Ooh. Nice. Hey. Give me a different mystical creature. Not a unicorn.
Bronze mouth gakefish.
Is that a mystical creature? I guess I've never heard of it.
In the Vale, it is.
Mouth gaped fish.
Yeah.
Okay. So, I'm filling in gaps as you give them to me. Okay, so this is a little more specific.
Okay.
I need something you might yell at an umpire.
Depends on the game. If it's a Giants game, this could get real nasty real quick.
Okay, what might you say if it was a Giants game?
Well, I'd probably yell, "Fuck you."
Okay, done. Keeping it. I love it.
Okay.
Because we're not writing children's novels here. You know?
Oh, okay.
It's for all of us.
It's a Giants game, it's never good.
Wait, I think I might have crossed some things. Anyway, it doesn't matter. Now I need something that you might hear at a doctor's office. Or from a doctor.
Where's the syringe? I've heard that more times than I like to admit.
Do you know the other day
I'm positive. That's funny.
For those following my scar journey, they did 15 stitches and they only found 14. So in your professional opinion, what happens to that 15th one?
It fell out.
It fell out? You think so?
Yeah, they can fall out like that.
Okay. Let's cross our
fingers.
Yeah,
you're okay.
Thanks. This is where I get my medical.
This is where you get
help.
your medical. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's good.
Let's have ex-nurses on the stream. I need another description. We're almost done with this chapter 1.
Another description. Why don't you go? I think the chat might have a couple things because so far they've had some good ones with "you're not the father" and "you're positive."
You're positive. Sorry, I wrote it down. You're not the father. I need a description, chat. Did it dissolve? Because there are dissolving stitches. They are nylon, so I don't think they dissolve.
No.
But give me an adjective, any sort of adjective. And then while they're giving me an adjective,
Dissolving.
Dissolving. There you go. Dissolving. And then I need a verb. Any verb, action word.
We already used bludgeoning.
Yeah, we did.
So you could use slicing.
I love that the only verbs come to mind are killing.
Sorry. Striking. Yeah, I know. You can see where my head's at today. It's because I didn't go to boxing.
Ooh, you need to let your aggression out somehow.
Yeah.
Okay, so wait, let me do a quick proofread. Yeah. Okay.
How's that working out?
Okay, I think my first chapter is complete. Are
Wow.
you guys ready to hear the first chapter of this book that I've worked on? You said Birth of the Fae is 5 years old?
Yeah, I started working on it about 5 years ago.
Okay, well, this is 6 years. I've been working on this for 6 years. I just
6
needed
years.
a little help. Yeah.
6 years for one chapter.
Listen, I have other chapters. It's just the first one was
just
a little hard. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
But I just want you to know that I've been working on it longer when I tell you that the title is actually called Birth of the Unicorn.
But very original.
Right. So I didn't steal from you. Honestly,
I
you might hear from my lawyers. Right. Okay. Chapter 1, Birth of the Unicorn.
Mm-hmm.
Long ago, before the world began, there was only... Oh, shit. I forgot another noun. I need another noun.
This chapter's going real well.
There was only what, Danielle?
Yeah, I think he did freeze, Oceana.
Did I freeze?
Yeah, you did.
Can you hear me?
I can hear you. You just froze.
Oh, and the most terrifying. Oh, God. Oh, God. Let me take a screenshot of it before.
Oh, you're good. You're good. You're unfrozen.
Oh, better hurry then. Oh, I got it. I just got it. Holy shit. Anyway, technical difficulties may ensue. I'm going to say frozen. There was only frozen, period. But in this frozen arose a flashy unicorn named Boser. One day, while walking through the Vale, Boser saw a rainbow-tailed... Oh, that doesn't work either. I need another noun. Give me another noun.
Art Geek says mouse.
Mouse. Great. A rainbow-tailed mouse bludgeoning a bronze-mouth-gaped fish. So, of course, Boser ran up and said, "Fuck you!" This took the mouse by surprise and said back to Boser, "Where's the syringe?" Hearing this, Boser felt very dissolved and immediately sliced. I think we have true potential here.
I think you do too. I think you should follow up with that. A couple of edits,
so?
and I think you're there. Yeah, totally got it.
You know, maybe some punctuation in there.
I think you're there.
Yeah. Oh God, Oddity is our DM in our D&D session, and I don't like when he takes notes for our Thursday D&D session.
I think you should keep taking notes. I think you got it. I think Oddity's onto something.
Okay.
I think he is.
So I had the next 12 chapters were fine.
Perfect. I'm glad I could help.
But I did need help on chapter 13. And that's it. I swear. This is it.
This is it?
Yeah. I know I only paid you until 10 o'clock. Are you able to go over just a few minutes?
Sure. Yeah,
okay.
we can give this a shot.
Okay, that's it. I swear.
You're frozen again, just so you know.
What the flying fuck? Why? Thank you for... I'm going to stop this. Come back.
Oh, there you are. Yep, you're back.
Jesus. Okay, I need a time of day.
Midnight.
Midnight. Got it. I need, oh, same name. Okay. Boser.
Mhm.
I need an activity.
Sword practice.
Sword play. From the Boser. Give me a description word.
Let's go with docking. I like that. Oddity.
Ooh, I'm gonna change sword play for docking. So an adjective description.
Like rainbow.
I'm sensing a theme here. This is really great. Majestic is next, little rascal. Next.
Yes.
Where's my next adjective? Okay, I found it. I'm moving it down here. Majestic. Okay. I need an amount, like any sort of like a measurement.
Like a pound?
Pound. Like a pound of flesh. Got it. Okay, got it. And give me a thing.
Treasure chest.
Okay. Got it. Okay. Then Boser. My name comes up a lot.
Yeah.
I need a container, not a treasure chest.
Oh, we just did that. A container.
Yeah.
A vase.
A vase. Ooh, of course you would say vase. You're so cool.
Yeah.
And a body part.
A heart.
Ooh.
Still beating.
Still beating. Okay. Boser.
There you go.
I need some liquid. Any sort of liquid.
Oh, this is getting dangerous now. Urine.
I knew I liked you. You're my people. And then chat, I know that I'm keep leaving you in the dust because you're just like 2 seconds too slow. So Troy likes you too. I need chat, give me like an exclamation, just something that you would exclaim. Maybe something good happened, maybe something bad happened. What do you say? Bourbon. Ow. Great. Ow. Okay, perfect. Give me another location.
Let's see. A rundown bar.
A rundown bar. And I don't mean to like, speed you along, but my deadline was 5 minutes ago for my publisher. So I kind of need to get them these pages.
Oh, okay. All right. We'll be a little quicker.
Yeah,
Got
it's not on you.
No problem.
It's really my fault, but it's now your problem.
Got it.
I need a noun. I see a dumpster. There we go.
Yep.
That works. Dumpster.
Dumpster works. I like that.
Okay. I need another adjective.
Seller. Another
Iridescent.
adjective.
I see one up in the chat. Iridescent. That's a great word.
Yep.
And a person. So any kind of person, a kind of person, and maybe.
Kind of person.
A
vagabond.
Ooh. Very fitting. That sounds magical and mystique.
Centaur.
Another location. God, I guess location and I are just not. It's not my strong suit.
Loch Ness.
Loch Ness. Love it. And okay. Oddly specific, but what's like a noise that you would hear in the bathroom, or noises you would hear in the bathroom?
Well, water running.
And like, if you were to make that noise, what would that sound like?
I don't like swishing.
No, but I need you to recreate the noise.
Oh, hell no. You ain't paying me enough for that.
I'm gonna write.
That sounds good.
Give me some sort of handheld item.
A handheld item. A cheese grater.
Cheese grater. Love it. Oh my God. Inspired. I would have never thought of that. Okay. Almost there. Almost there. 3 more objects and we're done.
3 more handheld objects?
Sure.
a pocket knife,
Okay.
a lipstick,
Okay.
a ninja star.
Ooh. I feel like those.
Oh, little rascal, we were right there with each other.
Ninja star. Nice. You guys are on the same page. I feel like those are all things that you have in your purse at all times.
I might.
Okay. Okay. I think this chapter's done.
There you go.
Ready for exclusive number 3 on the FGBG channel?
I'm ready.
Okay. This is chapter 13. This is like, you know, mid to beginning, middle of the book.
Okay.
It was midnight before Boser awoke the next day. All of the docking from the night before left Boser feeling like a rainbow pounding of treasure. Oh God, what have I done? But that quickly changed when Boser got a message in a vase dropped on his still beating heart. Opening it, Boser found a letter written in urine.
Oh my God.
It read, "Ow! I need your help. I'm being kept in a rundown bar by a majestic dumpster, and you are the only one who can help. Find the iridescent vagabond that lives by the Loch Ness and say the secret code. Then he will give you the magic cheese grater. With this, you can defeat my captor. But please hurry before the pocket knife reaches the 7th lipstick." And Boser immediately grabbed his trusty ninja star and set off toward the east.
Well done.
I think we have something here.
You know what? You definitely got something.
You know what?
It's right there.
I don't mean to toot my own horn, but I think
toot.
you should be interviewing me about my book.
You know what? I'm gonna say what the fae say, and that is chaos be with you.
Chaos be with you.
My friend sang that, and he's an opera singer.
That caught me off guard. I was like, oh, there's music too.
Yes, there is. I had an opera singer do that, damn it.
There you pull out all the stops.
I don't play around. But your book is right there. It's on that same level.
I think so. I think this is more of a fever dream than a fantasy. Shut up, John. You don't know true talent when you see it clearly. But that trusty ninja star came in for the win. You and the little rascal.
I agree, Rascal. Totally.
But Danielle, honestly, thank you for indulging me in my chaos and coming on the show tonight, just sharing your story and your journey.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it. Anybody out there who's looking to buy the book, if you don't see the hardcover paperback for sale on Amazon, it just means the 2nd edition is on its way out. So just hang in there, and I'd say check in on the audiobook, and then check on Instagram, and you'll know when the 2nd edition will be available. So, you know, if you don't see it, like I said, go with the audiobook, because the audiobook is totally worth it. I know some people aren't audiobook fans, but this one with the 2 narrators definitely is worth it.
Oh, this has been so much fun. Like, I didn't want to stop talking, honestly, but in respect of your time and all the time that you've spent enough with me, I
could probably give you a couple more minutes. If you want to go a couple more minutes, I can give you a couple more minutes, but you know,
those couple minutes are just for me. Then the chat doesn't get them. We get to talk after.
That's fine. But I appreciate it.
Chat, if you have anything gratitude to show for Danielle, now is the time. And also, if you have a raid that you would like us to send this great little group to next, put them below. Otherwise, I'm going to send them to one of my main squeezes, Crash Cosplay. But yeah, I don't know what to say other than thank you.
Thank you so much. I really appreciated this. I would love to come back and talk more cosplay, or when the next major trailer comes out, we could totally dissect it, because God knows we're all waiting for DC fandom and getting a look at the new Aquaman.
Hell yeah, I saw that black suit. All for it.
Oh, the stealth suit? I'm in for it. You know, I'm thinking that because we're getting the stealth suit, maybe are we getting Hook Hand, or are we getting Aqualad?
Ooh, she's a true fan. You can tell.
You know, I'm kind of thinking, because that's in that same realm during that time. So I'm wondering. And we're also supposed to get the Batman trailer with fandom. So I'm like kind of ready to break that down a little bit. So I'm here for all of that right now. I'm waiting for DC to kind of catch up to Marvel, but we all know that ain't gonna happen.
They got 10 years behind.
You know what? After what they did with Cavill, and you know, we know Gal's on her last leg. Yeah, what are we gonna get? You know, who knows? But I'm kind of psyched to see where things go. Black Adam is really what I'm waiting for.
Hell yes, all for it.
Hydro Hand could be a possibility. I'm looking at I'm looking at that, John, too. I think Black Adam is going to be the major jump for this. So I think that's it. And I would love to be getting a Blade update anytime. You know, and then I've heard, you know, we've all heard the rumors on Spider-Man. I'd like some confirmation. Are we getting Andrew? Are we getting Toby? Like, what's the deal?
I think we're getting all three. I really do.
I think we're getting all three. I think we're getting all three. I think it would be a nice blend. So I'm here for it.
Yes.
I'm totally here for it. I liked Andrew as Spider, as my Peter Parker. I thought he was a great Peter Parker.
Too. I really did too.
I really liked him as Peter. I thought he played it off well. I just think it was a storyline that did him in with Gwen, but I thought he was a good Peter Parker. And I know there's like some debate on that.
I know.
But for DC fandom, I want to see some Flash updates because I am all about Michael Keaton coming back. I am so in on Keaton coming back as Batman, and hearing that he's coming back for the Batgirl. Yeah.
That would be amazing.
My mind was like blown on that. I was like, and we're getting him. So I just want to see how this whole thing's going to fit in. But, you know, I just want to see what DC's really going to do. I think Flashpoint's going to be a big retcon on a lot of different things. And I sat for the Snyder Cut.
Did you really?
I sat for it twice. I just sat for we all sat for the last couple minutes of Jared. Who did not want to see him look at Bruce and say his lines? I mean, Granted, I wanted to hear him say "in a society," but I got it. It was, you know, I just want to see him, and now I want them to release the Ayer cut. I do want to see it.
Ooh, I didn't know there was another cut that we haven't seen.
The Ayer cut for Suicide Squad, there's talk of it being released. I mean, I saw the Suicide Squad. I liked it. I was here for it. I thought it was great. But it was a James Gunn. I mean, it was it was Guardians of the Galaxy, Suicide Squad. You know, I mean, it was great, but where does DC go from here? I don't really know. I think it's got to be Black Adam, and the Flash has got to reset everything. The Batman, to me, it's over here. It's a different. I mean, how many Batmans can we have? I really want to see Deathstroke and Ben Affleck go at it.
Oh yeah, that would be a good fight.
That's what I want to see. That's the movie I'm waiting on. Once I saw Joe Manganiello dressed up as Deathstroke, I was like, yeah, I'm in on this. Give me this and give me Affleck, and now we can definitely talk. I don't need Jesse Eisenberg as Lex anymore. I'm sorry for anybody out there that is a Lex. I'm sorry. But to me, his Lex was the Riddler on Adderall or needing to take Adderall.
Yeah, he would have been a great Riddler.
If you told me that's who he was,
yeah,
I would have been like, oh, I totally get it now. Like, that made sense to me. That was not Lex. Lex is supposed to be like, I don't want to mess with him. He's like the smooth, suave businessman. I was watching him going, is this the Riddler trying to be Lex? That's what I thought. Like, if he had gotten into the chopper in Batman versus Superman and Joker was waiting in that chopper with him, I would have been like, this totally makes sense now. Cool. But what the hell was that?
Poor thought out. They're just not thinking ahead like Marvel is. I just don't believe they are.
I think sometimes they cast ahead of it and they're not looking at the script enough.
Yeah.
I think Jesse Eisenberg's a great actor, but once again, that was Edward Nygma. That's who that was. If you had put all of that, taken LexCorp out and just made it Nygma, I would have went, not bad. It wasn't, I could even have dealt with the Martha scene. I even could have dealt with that. But if I recasted the movie today, he would have been the Riddler. And I'm sorry, Amy Adams, out, Anne Hathaway in as Lois Lane.
Hell yeah. I'm here for it. She would have been
That's great. Right off the top, I would have.
She probably couldn't ever now because she did Catwoman.
Nah, I don't even. Catwoman. Let's not even go there with that. Just stop me. Just don't know. I would throw her in.
We could geek out.
Oh, I could geek out all day on the movies. All day.
And hopefully we'll have you back. And I would love to hear about your second book, or maybe you just come out to geek out about DC Cinematic Universe, if you even call it that at this point. But for all of us from FGBG, thank you so much.
Thank you.
And we are going to keep geeking out all week. Wednesdays are going to be community gaming, so tune in on Wednesday and play games with us. And then tune in on Thursday for our ongoing D&D campaign. It's coming closer and closer to an end. It's getting more and more exciting. Who knows what's going to happen? I don't. Only T knows. But until next time, I am Boser. Introduce yourself once more.
Daniellemorsino, author of Birth of the Fae.
And you guys just keep geeking out.
Thanks so much, guys.